Welcome to the Grizzly Life podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Episode 51 of many. For those of you joining us, the Grizzly Life podcast, I'm your host, Colton Burt. I'm 27 years old. If you haven't listened to us before, we've got some real estate, we've got some gyms, we've got another company that does gym equipment installs and moves. So that is a brief about us. If you haven't tuned in before, go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4. That'll tell you a little bit about us, kind of the journey that was there. And then also, we've got a couple interview episodes with Gavino, with Kyle, with Nolan. Those are kind of some of the first, kind of day one guys, some of my best friends growing up, but their stories are really cool. You kind of hear their point of view and just kind of what it was like when we started the company and they were involved and what their thought was and, what they thought was going to happen long term, or the lack thereof. So they're still with us to this day. I think those are some good episodes for you guys to go back and listen. So I would like to also tell you a little bit about the Grizzly Life podcast and kind of what that is, just as a clear, outline, definition. The point of the Grizzly Life podcast is not to speak to only our gym members, right? We've got the gyms called Grizzly Fitness. The Grizzly Life podcast is here for anybody who wants to make their life better, right? Whoever wants to take their life to the next step, the next level. This isn't just fitness related. This is like self-improvement, the 1% better mentality. That's how I live. I live to be 1% better every day. I want to be the best version of myself. So our goal is to find individuals who are wanting to just be better. I talk a little bit about your inner circle and how important it is those people around you are helping bring you up to the next level. I kind of consider this podcast to be one of those, kind of like a podcast here to help you be a part of something that's not just like your day-to-day and everyday things that you're doing. I want this podcast to be a part of your everyday routine, but I want to help bring you up to the next level wherever you want to go. So use this podcast for that. Use this podcast if you want to use it for motivation, if you want to use it to help create some discipline of your own. I know we talk a lot about habits and, routines. So maybe, however I can help you is really the goal of this podcast. The goal is to be 1% better, be the best you, take you to the next step. So if you're listening and you're kind of curious, we're all over the place. I know we talk about gym updates, business updates. We talk about personal habits. We talk about nutrition. We talk about finances. Those are all kind of areas that I feel like can be 1% better. So I don't want you to listen to this thinking it's just about fitness and nutrition. We do talk finances here and there. We do want to have everybody set up for success when it comes to their personal finances. I want people to understand what retirement looks like and what they should be doing with their money and investments and that kind of stuff, right? So, and how to use credit cards, all that kind of stuff. So podcast is kind of, full circle on just general life and just kind of becoming the best version of yourself. So just want to throw that out there for you guys. Now that I am feeling better, I've been sick. I actually got my first workout in today. Today is Tuesday that we're recording, so this episode releases on Thursday, but I got my first workout in today since it would have been not over a week ago, so 10, 12 days, I think, or 10, 11 days. I think it was 2 Fridays ago, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. So that was big, felt good. Last night was a weird night of sleep for me, but I kind of felt like I sweat the rest of it out, so I feel good. Didn't get perfect sleep, but got a lot better sleep. So started the day off with some arms, of course. Got some steps in as well. And happy to be back. So kind of getting back in the full swing of things. Now that I am feeling better, I was supposed to do a podcast last week with an individual that I went to middle school with that has an awesome fitness journey of his own, and he will be on this week, Thursday. We're going to record an episode for our Tuesday episode, next week, Tuesday. I know I'm saying a lot of days here. So we were supposed to record last week. It just didn't work out. I wasn't feeling the best. I was trying to reschedule times with him. He had some stuff come up. So he's coming over to the studio this week, and we're going to record an episode for next week. So that'll be one of those where we just kind of let the tape run, and as long as it goes, it goes. I think he's got a lot of cool, interesting stuff that he's overcome and his own fitness journey. For those of you listening, if you guys know anything about Andy Frisella, which I like Andy Frisella. He's an awesome guy. I like listening to his podcast as well. He follows his routine. And yeah, I won't say too much. I want you guys to be excited to listen to it. So we will have him on, and hopefully you guys enjoy that one. So today, I've got a story for you guys. So this is, aside from the grizzly life, this is me venting a little bit so you guys can hear the little things I had to deal with today. So I will go back to the situation. I'll explain the situation. You guys can tell me what you think. But I think it was back in February. I was driving through a local town here. I was driving through Red Granite, to be exact. I drive a 2015 F350, so it's not a super light vehicle by any means. It's 11,000, 12,000 pounds. And so I'm driving towards Watoma, and there's actually a school bus coming through town opposite direction of me. So for those of you listening, I'm heading to Watoma, and the bus is heading like through Red Granite, heading towards Amro, right? So we're downtown, right by Quick Trip. It's like a 25 there. And, nobody drives 25, right? We're driving 30, 32, whatever. And I'm with my brother. And what happens is I'm driving my truck, and I'm probably going, like I said, like 30, 32 miles an hour. And the school bus turns its flashing lights on. No stop sign. And no, the arm wasn't coming on or anything. It was just the hazards. And mind you, the bus was still moving towards me. So now I'm coming towards the bus. There's no vehicle in front of me, and the bus is still moving. And it threw its hazards on, which to me means, hey, I'm slowing down. I'm going to be stopping soon, but I'm not to a complete stop yet. So I'm in like this weird gray area space now where either like I slam on the brakes and, not bounce my head off the steering wheel, but basically really, really stop, or I slow down, move over, and kind of just respect that he's slowing down and just get off to the side and get past him. And now, mind you, I'm not passing the school bus like I'm behind it. I'm, again, going opposite way of the school bus. And so that's what I did. I slowed down. It was in a weird area of I didn't have enough space to brake. So what the school bus decides to do is slam on his brakes, throw the stop sign out as fast as possible, and basically get me in trouble. And honked at me and, whatever else. So I'm just looking at my brother. I'm like, well, what did we do? Like I obviously do not want to put the kids in harm. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't stop for school buses, because I always stop for school buses and I never pass them. In this case, I drive a big truck. I'm not driving a little car. It's not easy to just slam on my brakes and stop. And so, yeah, he's still moving and decides to, well, this truck's not stopping. So I'm going to slam on my brakes, put my stop sign out, and honk at the guy. Well, when he puts his stop sign out, it actually triggers a camera to then watch my truck drive by. So in the camera footage, which was poor at best for quality, you could see the stop sign actually folding out as my truck is driving by. So like he literally made this like a bang bang thing where, again, to me, when the hazards are on, hey, I'm slowing down, if it was a semi, what would you do, right? You would throw your hazards on, the semi would pass, and then you would put your stop sign out. It's pretty straightforward. To me, the hazards on the school bus is to say, hey, I'm going to be slowing down. Everybody else, please respect that. And when it's safe, I'm going to put my stop sign out and let my kids out of the vehicle. Like, that is how it would operate. Well, again, he saw that I was coming, didn't care, and whatever. So now there's video footage of me passing the school bus, and obviously it doesn't show the 100 feet before. It just shows my truck zooming by the school bus as the stop sign's coming out. It's a 7-second clip or whatever, a 5-second clip. Probably not even that. It's probably like a 3-second clip or whatever. So most of the clip was after I'd already passed. So whatever, the day went on. I was kind of like, okay. Well, like a week later, I get a phone call from like the local, police department in Red Granite. I give them a call back, and they're basically like, yep, you got a fine. There's a court date you can go to, but basically we don't have a choice but to give you a fine when it's a school bus offense. It will be $700 and like 4 points or 6 points or something off your driving record. And I'm like, that is absurd. Like, I have local businesses. I care about the local communities. Like, I give back. I've got health and fitness studios, which is good for individuals. Like, I'm obviously pissed off because I would rather donate $1,000 to the school district than have some pissed off school bus driver try to tag me with a fine. So they mail me a ticket. It's like $6.97 or $7.15 or something, plus 4 points or 6 points. And then I had to, attend my court date if I wanted to dispute it. So whatever, pissed off. But anyways, we're not even getting to the good part yet. So I go to court and sit through that, which was an experience in itself. I then wait my turn and talk to my attorney that is given to me. And the attorney was like, well, there's like 5 different scenarios he was throwing out there. He's like, well, what we should do is get this changed to this kind of offense, which isn't that bad. Have you pay the full amount of the fine, but give you 0 points off. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying $700. Like, this is ridiculous. He's like, what we could do is we could give you 4 points off, but then reduce your fine down to X dollars. I'm like, dude, I don't believe I should be paying this at all. Like, I don't want to do that. He's like, well, what we could do is you could have this many points off, or he's like, you could have 0 points off, $400 fine, and then as long as your record stays clean for the next like 6 months, then this offense will fall off. I'm like, why do I have to have a clean driving record? I already have one. Like, I didn't do anything wrong, And finally, we get it reduced down to $295, 0 points, and he said, okay, like that's we'll go for that. I'm like, great, whatever. I still am not happy about the situation, but it's better than it was. So signed off on that. The attorney goes, I'll have to take this to the DA and then, or whatever, the judge, and then I'll have him sign off on it if he agrees to it, and then it'll get mailed back to you. You'll be able to pay for it, and you'll be all set, right? I'm like, okay, great. Thanks, man. Have a good one. And my court date, this is back in June. So now it's August. It's been about 2 months. And I've been thinking like, yeah, I haven't really seen that ticket. I haven't seen anything in the mail, right? I don't know what I should do. Like, do I call? Do I not call? It's just one of those things where it's not really a major concern of mine to pay something that I already thought was not my, problem or not. I was already irritated by the entire situation, right? So I wasn't really concerned about calling to say, hey, can I give you guys my money? So anyways, today I'm in the office and I go and get the mail and super excited. We got some checks from some large companies for our fitness equipment moving company. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. And then I got something from the DMV and I was like, oh, it's probably my license, or it's probably my license plate renewal for my car. And then I got something from the clerk of courts or whatever, the circuit court. I was like, oh, it's probably my ticket that I got to pay. This is great. Well, I opened that one and it's like, oh, here's your ticket. You owe $295, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, like this is all right. And then I look at the DMV one and it's like, your license has been suspended for the next year. And I was like, what the hell? Like, how is this possible? And it was like failure to pay your $295 ticket. And I was like, this is a joke, right? Like, this is horrible. This is just so stupid. It's already a situation that I don't feel like I should be in. And then now I have to reinstate my driver's license, which is already a pain in the ass, right? Nobody likes going to the DMV. Nobody likes waiting. And on top of that, I just got a new license in May. So now I actually have to go and pay a reinstatement fee for my license and get a brand new license, which, again, it doesn't make any sense why the government wants to waste anybody's time. Why don't you just click the fucking box that says, Colton's good to go, he can drive, and his license is reinstated, and here it is. It's the same one he had before. Instead, no, I have to pay $60. I have to get a new picture taken. Like, I have to get a paper license. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a waste of time and a waste of money, and it's just a standard, government. I feel like they just don't care about making things easy. So, and I feel like they just want their money wherever they can get it. There's my little rant. But so anyways, mind you, my license has been suspended for like the last 5 days, apparently, as of August 14th. Didn't get it in the mail till, again, today. And yeah, so that's my little story for you guys to start this off. I was very not happy. Luckily, the DMV was able to accept that I had just paid the fine and reinstated immediately. Sometimes the DMV can be, 24, 48 hours, a week, whatever it is. So they reinstated my license right away, so we're good there. Ended up paying another $61 after the credit card fee. Ended up taking a picture with some greasy gym hair from underneath, greasy hat hair or whatever. So whatever. It could always be worse. That's one of the mindsets here at the Grizzly Life Podcast, is it could always be worse. So luckily, we got her all taken care of. We're on the up and up. We're good to go. So let me know if you guys have had any situation like that. I feel like it was super unnecessary. I'm also kind of irritated by the attorney. Like, where did he send this agreement, or like the bill? Where did he send the piece of mail that was supposed to come to me saying, hey, everything's good to go, pay your fine. And I have no idea. So anyways, I could spend my entire day pissed off about it and go home and just complain about this all day. And everybody I see complain about it because that's what humans like to do. They like to cry. They like to think emotionally, not logically, which, yes, to me, this does irritate me very much. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It could always be worse. So I'll tell the people that, I tell about my day, but it won't be a very long conversation. We'll move on. So do with that as you please. Let me know if you guys have had any situations similar to this. I'm curious. Shoot me a message on Snapchat. Shoot me an email, whatever you guys want to do. If you guys want to add me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt, Colton.Burt. Instagram, Facebook is ColtonBurt19. So let me know. Let me know what you guys got there. If you guys want to shoot us an email, Garrett@fitnessgrizzly.com is our best email there. So that's today's story. I do want to answer one question, and then I'm going to give you guys kind of a tip of the day, and then we're going to call it on this podcast. It's not going to be a very long one again. So one question that I've gotten recently, and just kind of like a mindset as well. Why do I keep falling off? Why do I keep, I know so many people, they get in a routine, they get motivation, they go to the gym, they change some habits, right? And they're doing great for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, maybe a month, right? And they fall off. You've got the standard January 1st, the New Year's, but you've also got like just something happens in that individual's life and they start working towards a better, healthier version of them and they fall off, right? It's so easy to grab the candy, grab the chips, grab the beer, whatever it is, whatever that vice is of yours. It's easy to fall back into that because we still have it around us. It's everywhere, right? So I think the strongest tool that I know is to really define what you want. Like really think about, where do I want to be? Like, why am I not happy right now? Why am I even considering getting on, right? Why do I keep falling off? Why do I want to get on the horse? Why do I want to become a better version of myself? Why do I want to change it all? Like there's clearly a why, there's clearly a reason. So think about what that is. Why do I want to be better? I'm tired of being out of breath when I walk up the stairs. I'm tired of having to keep buying new clothes because I keep getting bigger. I'm tired of just not feeling my best, not getting good sleep. Whatever it is, there's a why. So let's write that down and figure out, like, how do we overcome that? How do we move on past that? So I think a lot of people fall off because they don't have, and I'm not saying you have to be one of these goals people. I know a lot of people are against goals, and that's maybe a problem, right? Not having a end of path, somewhere I want to head to, a destination, like planning a vacation. A vacation similar to a goal, even though a vacation is temporary. It's something you work up to. It's something you save to, and it's a destination you go on. It's a mental break. That's something you work towards. Similar to a goal, I just think there's a bad connotation with goals because people don't want to create a goal. They don't want to stick to a goal. They don't want to be held accountable to a goal. So why do I keep falling off? You don't have a clear defined outcome of what you want to do. You don't have a date. You don't have a specific, you don't have a date you want to accomplish it by. You don't have, I'm thinking body weight loss here, right? I'm thinking like fitness goals, of course. But a lot of people don't know what they want to accomplish. They just know, I want to lose weight. I want to be skinnier. I want to, that's about as deep as it typically goes. I just don't want to be the way I am right now. And I think a lot of those people too sometimes don't want to get on the scale. They don't want to know what they're at. They just want to like start. So it's easy to go and buy the new shoes. It's easy to buy the new pre-workout. It's easy to buy the protein bars. It's easy to buy into these things and feel good for a minute and, again, hop on this horse of changing your life. But those little things, those little, the instant gratification tools there, those little instant gratification pieces don't last. It's instant gratification. It's not a long term. Eventually those brand new gym shoes are going to be 4-week-old gym shoes. Eventually that pre-workout or that protein powder is going to be just another food or something in your cupboard, right? So why do I keep falling off? First, you need to create an outline. What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to go about it? Create what I call your one-page business plan. Create your business plan to yourself. Create your personal plan on what you want to accomplish and how you want to accomplish it. You don't need to have it all mapped out, but you need to have kind of where we're at and where we're going, where we want to end up. Everything else in between we can figure out as time goes on. Obviously, we're going to start with a little something here in the beginning, and then we'll kind of continue clearly outlining that and defining that as we're moving forward. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to start a one-page business plan or one-page personal plan and have everything figured out. You don't need to think about every single thing that you do is bad that you need to change. You don't need to make this tsunami, like this massive change all at once. It doesn't need to be like a flood or a storm of all of these things. We want to lose weight. We want to lose how much weight and by when, right? Like just figure out the basic goals and what our goal is there. So, and where we're heading. So I think we don't need to go into all goal setting and how to create a one-page personal plan for yourself, but I think that one tool alone is why we fall off, because we don't know where we're going. We don't know why we're going there. We just think it was a good idea. We had one too many beers last night and we're hungover today, and now we want to feel better and we don't want to keep feeling like this. Maybe we went out for pizza the night before, whatever, right? So that's kind of the first thing. I think what's important is you can't just rely on the willpower aspect, which is kind of that initial, I want to do this because I want to do this. I feel good. I'm motivated to do it. That'll only last so long. Like I love working out. I love fitness, but it can be daunting. You get in a routine, and I would say I'm much more disciplined than the average person, but I've got a pretty good routine down as far as my personal plan. So, but I have systems in place. So like I've created systems in my personal life to take me to that level of where I want to go. And I don't rely on just willpower. Some days I do. Some days I just need my brain to say, dude, you're going to regret not going, or you better get out of bed, and you better stop being fat. Whatever that is, that little conscious needs to not be telling me the negative things, and I need it to tell me my positive things. So creating some systems, would be, I think this comes down to like more habits outside of just going to the gym. That being, am I getting good sleep? Am I giving myself the best chance to win today? Am I focusing on myself and prioritizing myself? If your system is to work a 12-hour shift or a 16-hour shift and then think you're going to want to work out afterwards, that's going to take some serious determination, discipline, willpower, whatever you want. That is going to be an extremely determined individual. You know what I mean? I think that's an extremely hard scenario anyways, 12-hour, 16-hour shifts, even 10-hour shifts. I put myself first. I make sure my workout happens in the morning. I get out and do it just to make sure that there's no possible chance I don't do it. I also try to give myself the best chance at sleep and recovery because it's extremely important. I think, again, it's one of the most undervalued tools, or not even tool, just one of the most undervalued things that we all do and don't even realize how important it is. I read a book on why we sleep. I think it was like episode 17 or something back in the teens. Listen to that episode. I talk a little bit about sleep and the importance of it. But I track all my stuff using the Oura Ring and the Whoop. I think having those metrics and kind of playing it like a video game, and how good a sleep can I get? What happens when I use this supplement or that supplement? I do all of that stuff, right? So I don't need to go into what I do, but having some systems set up in place for you to not lose. I'm going to work out first thing in the morning, pre-planning your food for the day, whatever it is. Those are some other things you can do to make sure that you don't fall off. Some things that really help build good habits. If you just start going to the gym and then do everything else the same, which is a fine way to go about it, it's easy to fall into the eating the chips because that's what I eat every day for lunch or for dinner before I go to bed, eating the candy bar before I go to bed, having the little bowl of ice cream before I go to bed, whatever. Like if you don't change some of those little things, it's going to be pretty easy to say, the next day I think I'm going to take a rest day, right? And then that one day turns into a week, into a month, and again, you're falling back off. So not saying change everything, but again, figure out a little balance here. How do we prioritize ourselves and focus on ourselves? So I think the biggest thing is, if you're going to start, why are you starting? And write that down and tell your friends and family. Tell those people close to you so they can hold you accountable. Again, use this podcast as that inner circle friend that you need to bring you up to the next level. Because I think that is what's lacked in so many friend groups, is that one driver to like, hey, let's go be the best versions of ourselves. There's people in those friend groups that, hey, let's go out Friday night. Like they're the leader of the group and they're motivating you guys to do something, which is fine. You need the fun friend. You need that friend that wants to do that stuff too. But if you guys lack that individual that drives you, that makes you realize I need to focus on my health. Again, I say it in so many episodes, but the only thing you have is yourself. And without your health, you have nothing. So don't think about just today and tomorrow. Think about the tomorrow in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years. What does that look like? Like, if I continue on the path that I'm on right now, what am I going to feel like in that time? If I continue doing what I'm doing every day, smoking, drinking, not getting my steps in, eating like complete shit, whatever it is, if I'm gaining an average of 5-10 pounds a year at age 21, 25, 30, what is that going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years? Like, you need to think about this. Like, don't be so numb to figure out, like, to not look at what your future looks like. You live in the present, but you only have the future. Yesterday is gone. The past is gone. Those are just memories, right? So it's really important to realize that 10 years is going to come quick. 20 years is going to come quick. And before you know it, either you're going to be able to take care of yourself or you're not. And I just don't think a lot of people realize and think like that. A lot of people think, well, I only live once. I'm going to die someday anyways. I'm not. That's fine. I have the same mentalities in some aspects, but I'd like the most quality life that I've got since I only have one. I'd like to challenge your thought process there to, well, just because you live once doesn't mean you need to be extremely overweight. It doesn't mean it needs to be hard to function, impossible to breathe. Like, if I'm going to live once, I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to hike. I want to be able to see stuff. I want to be able to go on the ocean and go fishing, whatever it is. I want the opportunity to do that stuff. I'm not saying those are my goals and aspirations, but I need to be able to do them if I want to. And without your health, you can't do those things. You can't accomplish those things. So again, just realize that you're all you've got, and without your health, you've got nothing. So I will leave you off with one final tip of the day. My self-improvement tip, which, if I haven't given you enough self-improvement tips in the last, 5, 10, 15 minutes, then I'm not sure. But the self-improvement tip of the day is read more books. Pretty simple. We spend so much time on our phones. We spend so much time scrolling. Oh, we're learning something. We're watching some content. That's fine. I agree with you. I can go on YouTube and learn stuff. I can go on Facebook and learn stuff. I'm not disagreeing with you. But we're on our phones so much, it disconnects us, right? The benefits to like reading a book, other than not taking in a shit ton of blue light from your screen device that you're doing, probably right before bed, and arguing with me that you have no time to read, I like to read a physical book because there's no blue light, yes. It allows my brain to calm down at the end of the day. It allows me to work on like my literature level, is that what it's called? My level of how fast I can read, how well I can read, how well I can understand. So like my literacy level or whatever that would be. I'm working on improving those things as well. When you read, you learn to speak a little bit better. I started reading prior to the podcast, and I know that it helped me a lot with kind of putting my words together and having good sentences and conversations, and also my conversations in my leadership team meetings and my family, whatever. I've just become a little bit more fluent, and I just feel better about speaking as a whole. One of my goals long term would be to do public speaking and have conversations in front of large groups of people. But so reading, one of the other big benefits that I love, I read a lot of obviously nonfiction. I don't read stories. You can read stories, you can read fictional stuff. That's fine. It still improves how fast you can read, how well you can read. You still learn new words. That's all great. Reading fiction stuff is still like watching Netflix in a sense. It's still, what's the word I'm looking for? Entertainment, which is fine. There's still time for that. I'd rather you read for entertainment than watch for entertainment. That's for sure. Reading for self-improvement is one thing. I think there's people out there who only read self-improvement, which, don't get me wrong, I like self-improvement books. I kind of go all over the place, whether it's self-improvement when it comes to like habits and that stuff. I also like to read a lot about marketing. I like to read a lot about, where I'm going with this is reading about individuals who have accomplished more than you. So you don't need to. One of the guys that I follow likes to say, study billionaires. Now, he doesn't say, you don't have to study a billionaire to become a billionaire. Like, that's not the point. But if you learn how they function, how they've functioned, how they've accomplished so much in such a short lifespan, right? You can start to kind of put things together for yourself. And I'm not saying you just study billionaires. I like to read about individuals because they've already lived a life that I have not. They've lived all of these other experiences that I have not, which when I read their experiences, now I have them in some sort of capacity. But I have their understanding of the world. I have their understanding of what they believe in. I have their understanding of how they've gone about their life and navigated. And that kind of gives me, say I read a book about a 75-year-old, that kind of gives me 75 more years of knowledge, right? Like, if they really put all they could into one book for like an autobiography or a biography in the sense, you're getting that many years of life kind of instilled into you and life lessons and understanding. So if you could benefit from one thing, obviously I'd like you to read about something you really care about and something that you want to become even better at. Maybe you need to work on your finances. Maybe you're interested in marketing. Maybe you like gardening. I don't care. I want you to become the best of that, or whatever you're interested in. I want you to be the best at that. But one thing that everybody could learn about and take something away from would really be studying other people who have done great things. Learning from those individuals, I think, is such a huge thing. And for somebody like me in a small town, it's not easy to just find mentors, the people who can bring you up to the next level, the people who have done it. A lot of these small towns are local bar and restaurant owners, which, don't get me wrong, they've done amazing things as well. I just want to, it's not always easy making those connections, I guess. So reading about individuals who have accomplished way more than you, I think is eye-opening. It gives you a little bit more respect for those people. For example, I'm reading on Elon Musk right now, which people can love him or hate him. I don't care what your opinion is. But once you understand his story and his work ethic and his determination and his discipline and his lack of sleep because of how much he cares about what he's built and his babies and his businesses, like, his goal and driving factor isn't even the money. His goal this entire time has been to get to Mars and to save the planet and these other underlying things, right? So it's very, very cool. And you learn, like, when you watch social media, which is kind of what I'm trying to tell you to limit, when you watch these things, you're just constantly taking in the very, like, top news article, one piece of paper, the headline, and then, like, you're making an opinion. You have no knowledge to even form that opinion besides the little headline that you read. So any of you who really hate on Elon or really love Elon, I think reading about him is very fascinating. I think you learn a lot about him that you had no idea. You probably had no idea he was beaten as a kid. You probably have no idea the hardships that his dad put him through and the way that his dad mistreated him his entire life. There's just a lot of interesting, fun things, a lot of interesting things to be had from reading. So self-improvement tip of the day is read. You don't have to read like me. You don't have to read, 50 books in a year, but pick up a book a month. Like, just read a little bit, understand a little bit, become a better version of you. And that's what I ask. So I am going to call it there. I appreciate you guys tuning in, episode 51. We're on the back half of the 100, so I appreciate you guys. Again, give me any feedback you've got. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.